Well, welcome back to Warm Blindness. How are you today?
Oh, we're going to go with that opening. I love it. So we have Punchy Brent here. So yes, this is Word Blindness, Dyslexia Exposed. I'm Juliette Hahn, and I'm here with Brent Zopel, as you heard already. Just yesterday, so today is September 18th, Wednesday. We are recording out of the Monday because Monday we were in Chicago. Well, you're always in Chicago. I was also in Chicago for the Zopel Foundation golf event. So just tell us how you feel right now.
With my hands.
Okay. I don't know why I giggle like a child. Like a child. Like, I think that's so funny. You've said that like a million times. Clearly, we are both punchy.
No, you know, it's, I think I did on my post yesterday, you know, I'm still kind of, we call it the pink cloud effect when you first get sober. Oh, you're riding the pink cloud because everything's so amazing. I think I'm still riding the pink cloud. Probably is the first time in my life that I've been surrounded by that many people where I felt loved. Obviously it took many years to get to, yourself and grandma, but I don't think I've felt that much love by that many people in the same place at the same time, that ever for me. So still kind of riding that, that wave.
Yes, I love that. And there was so much love and so much happiness and everyone asking questions, which how I love a good question.
Curious George.
But just so many people asking.
Should we sell that? A Curious George hat and the new merch drop that we're having Oxford, Dyslexia Foundation with a Curious George hat?
Maybe Curious George is riding a unicorn.
Oh, jeez. There's a t-shirt that's going to be made for sure.
But it really was, there were so many people that were curious that, didn't have dyslexia that asked questions. There were some parents that came up to, it was awesome because Dan got to go and meet you in person. I
didn't mean to cut you off, but it was so awesome to have Dan there and, to meet him personally for the first time and what he's endured in, and I've got to watch that transition, and not only him, yourself, but your family. So it was amazing to have him there.
Yeah, no, and he was so happy to have met you and Elizabeth and the family, and then meet Danny, which was really fun for you guys also to meet Danny in person. I mean, we had so much fun. Yeah, so much fun.
Elizabeth and Danny and their selfie train, and
as I was buying frames, I was like.
The worst person in history to go into a store and pick out some design or something. Two assholes leave you go in there, and they're in the car taking pictures with that mini stick. I'm like, what is this? What kind of sense does this make? So yeah.
And I think I texted them 3 times. Is this frame okay? Why am I don't. I'm like the worst person. I have no sense.
And they couldn't respond because they're too busy taking selfies.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. But there was like parents that came up and asked questions like, how do you navigate this? And then one of the really cool questions that we got was Dan and I were talking to Kenny actually. And when Dan went to go to do something, I forget, but Kenny said, can I ask you how your husband is with like your dyslexia and your son's dyslexia? Like that's a house of dyslexia. And I said, it might even grow, but we won't go there. And I said, it really is interesting because I think every family is different, right? Every family, Dan was not aware of any learning disability, ADHD, anything until he met me. And then he's like, I feel like everyone has it. So, and maybe it was around, they just didn't talk about it in his world.
Well, and just throw it in there to talk about it. They didn't know about what to talk about. So,
Yeah, no, totally. So it was really cool to be able to just have so many different conversations, but the curiosity, and then let's just take it to you and Elizabeth with that golf cart, the Chippopotamus golf cart. You guys were like, that was so freaking cool.
Yeah, everybody, actually I just talked to the guy today. He's like, your golf cart's awesome. I'm like, that wasn't my golf cart. So, for the listeners, one of the sponsors, Chippotamus, they can make design golf shirts. They brought a golf cart with, it was all wrapped in Chicago Blackhawks logo, big speaker. So I'm driving around there in this, and microphone in it, and music flying, and this thing's flying 100 miles an hour. I forgot to tell him. I don't even think I dropped the speaker. I had to go back and pick it up and strap it back on. I think I broke it because that's why I just kept crackling after that. So I might have to buy him a new speaker. I didn't tell him that. Yeah, but
All right,
sick golf course, golf cart.
It was really, really cool. It was really cool. And everyone loved it too. Like that was the fun thing. Like you got to go and kind of, let's take everyone through a little bit, some of the details, because that's what I think is so special. And I think that's, events like this are run all the time. But I don't know. How many people came up and not even just to you, but just to I have so many people that have reached out and been like, that literally was the best event. And so I would love for you to take us through some of the details that you did that you're just really good at thinking about. Okay, how can I make this extra special?
Grandma, right here. Obviously, best pierogi pizza in the house. With the golf ball. Yeah, I was one of them. It was. If you have a million things to pick from, or even if you have two, and you can only pick one, how do you differ from that other person or that other event? And for me, for the foundation is, how do we get recognized? How do we stand out in front of everybody? There's, like you just mentioned, there's millions of golf events all summer long. How do you do it? Is that with some do it with some celebrities, some do it with gifts, and I tried to do the combination of all of them. But the biggest thing that I have found is there's not a lot of interaction once you start golfing with a lot of people part of that group. Is that a found, is that, the Sopel Foundation, or, is that whatever event you're at, you start golfing and, there's a cart go comes around, gets you drinks. But that's where I wanted a lot of contact. Every other hole was somebody with the foundation, somebody that's dyslexic. Obviously we had some of the dyslexic kids, driving around with, in the golf carts, telling them stories, saying thank you. Obviously one of the, the dyslexic traits on every hole. I had one gentleman come up to me, and he was, he's a banker. So he's like, I'm a numbers guy. He goes, but I want to tell you, on every hole. So for listeners, you have a whole sponsor, so you have that company sign there. I had a dyslexic trait statistic on every single hole, a different one. So, when you're standing there, talking or waiting, that was there so that you could learn what this is about, what dyslexia is, a new trait. And the gentleman came up to me and said, Brent, I got to tell you, I took time every single hole to stand there and read every one of your signs. Because I was more blown away each and every sign that I read, the statistic, like to the point where I'm like, this can't be true. But I took the time, and thank you for putting that out there. Obviously, being a numbers guy, it played to me, but I just couldn't believe how staggering some of these numbers were. So, obviously, it was very nice of him to come up and say that. It was just, I really wanted people to leave there with a great experience, but to learn a lot. And in a fun way. I'm always on here laughing and joking and making fun of myself. If we have fun, then we're going to learn. And how do we differ ourselves? And, you tell me, I guess, from Dan's point of view, because Dan likes golfing, right? He's got to do it a lot.
He loves golfing,
He was just in LA for work. So what did he say from his perspective of a businessman, as a guy who likes golf, in those two aspects?
Well, he said he loved all of the different things that like happened on each, on different holes. So he said, like the apparel, he's like, you don't see that. He's like, that was really cool. The shotgun thing, the long drive, like he said, the long drive guy, he's like, he was awesome.
He was phenomenal. It was so much fun. He was out of control. I'm like, dude, I got to take me 3 shots to hit what you just hit upside down in a cartwheel. And he was phenomenal.
Yeah, he said he was really cool. And even the he brought someone that he works with and their husband, and they said the same thing. They're like, that was just fun. Like it was fun, but it was also learning, and you could just feel the passion. You could feel that people were there to support. And he's like, you don't get that a lot. You get like people that will come for events because they're like, oh, it's a company thing or whatever. Like it was truly where they were like listening, especially when you were talking. And it was just like, okay, I thought that was, he's like, it was different because as you said, he's gone to a lot. He's like, but like a good different where it was like, oh, what's happening next? Like, oh, this is really cool. Like, typically, what happens at golf events, and so this was like, yes, what's going to happen, but there's like a little surprise.
And you know me. You never know what's coming. What's that, Grandma? Oh, yes. The veterans.
Yes. That was very cool.
I think that obviously started things off right. And, again, they wouldn't sacrifice their lives. So, to thank them, you know me as the listeners, if you tune in there, you never know what I'm going to say and why I'm going to say it, but there's always a reason to why I say it. And I want you always to be surprised, because I'm more of a trend setter when it comes to fashion, not a trend follower. What are you laughing at? But it's and Kenny said something to me that I've never had anybody. He was, "You're like my golden retriever, all heart." I'm like, "No, I'm dog." But it was
that's so true though.
But it was so cute. I guess cute's not the right word, but it was pretty amazing how he kind of said, how he kind of said that. I've never kind of heard it that way.
Well, but that's the thing, and that's where you are so misunderstood, as you've talked about. Because you are all heart. You wear your heart on your sleeve. And anyone that knows you knows that. But people from the outside perception might not know that. And we've talked about this. And I think this was an email that you actually got after one of your videos. Someone that played in the league with you was like, I always thought you were an asshole. And I actually still kind of have a chip on my shoulder because of you. And after I saw that video, I just let it go. I'm sorry, dude. I actually completely miscategorized you.
And to his defense, and thank you. I got to respond to him. I probably was an asshole, and I probably was out of line. No matter what I did back then, I was, as much as I'm misunderstood today, I was even more misunderstood back then because I didn't even understand myself. Mm-hmm. So if I can't understand myself, how is he supposed to understand me? So guaranteed he had all right to be. I'm sure I was being an asshole, and I deserved what he said and what he thought. And that's why we do what we do. The more understood we have ourselves and who we are and what is going on, the more other people can understand us.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to say one thing. You're like a little person. What did you think I was going to say? You're like tiny. It's like you're going to move your thing down. Thank you.
There's nothing wrong with being little.
No, but you look.
Like grandma, literally, we got a king size bed that is the size of a single bed because we just sleep on here. Right. I'm like,
right. You can get compact.
what did I say today? I said, I'm going to create the first ever coaster bed holder because her nightstand, she can't even reach it. She's so far on my side, but so you can put your drink on the bed and won't spill because it's a coaster because
yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your face? Did you think I was going to say something else?
Oh, I had no idea where you're going with it, as I normally do. No clue.
Yeah. Oh, good. I like that. I keep you on your toes. But that was like a really interesting thing. But I think that is something that is so apparent when people get to know you, is that you are all heart and you just want to help, and you want kids to be understood. So, and you want people to be understood, because you don't want someone later in life to say to a kid, "Oh, I thought you were an asshole," because you want them to be able to understand themselves, and people know their person. Now, there are people that are assholes. That's fine. I mean,
Well,
but you're not one of them.
and I'll defend those assholes. I don't know too many people who just woke up to be an asshole. How
Right.
did they get there? Right? There's always a story behind there, and nobody takes that second to find out what that story is. And oh my god, you actually care. We kind of give the old puppy dog tilt to the head. Oh my god, he's asking something that most people has never ever asked. Like I said, that was for me to cry. The fuck was that shit? We got to talk about that. I was gonna say somebody put my food. I didn't even get a chance to eat. Oh, actually, we did. Could we talk about how good those churros were? Did you have a churro?
I did not have a churro.
What?
I know. I'm sorry.
Grandma stuffed a couple of those down my throat. Like, oh my god, those things were unbelievable. But
She said that. Yes.
that was the only time I ate. But it was. I don't know why. I don't know how I cried. Did you film that?
I did. And I filmed everything. I was actually so on point. I was like, oh my God. Okay. Oh, wait, something's happening. I got to get on. I actually I got everything, which I was really proud of myself.
Yeah. Well, Elizabeth said, you were social media. Everybody was amazing, from all the volunteers. From start to finish, the course, it just ended up being super on point, perfect for everything.
Well, it was easy and flowy. I mean, it was, I don't know that.
Flowy.
It was easy and it flowed. I guess just not flowy, but everything really did. And, I wasn't in the, like, I mean, I'm sure there's like, in any event, there's like the underbelly of where the stuff happens, and then everyone at the top doesn't see it, right? There's always stuff happening, but and I don't think it was that case. Like, it really just, like, you guys did such a great job of every last detail. I mean, with Elizabeth, with the lists, and and I know that there was a lot of collaboration and stuff, but it was like, we can't forget this, we can't forget that. There probably wasn't too much stuff that was like, what we need to, we're going to change that next year, because that doesn't work. That's how every event works. You always think, okay, how can I make that better? What can I do? And it's going to be awesome to see what happens next year, because this, again, everyone was like that. Everyone left. So I don't think everyone wanted to leave either. Like, everyone was like, let's just hang out and stay.
Well,
everyone loved the company,
Yeah. And most golf events, if you golf, you finish golf, you go eat and leave. A lot of people never even stay for that dinner. And I think we had at least 3/4 of the people stay. I had a couple of people say, hey, sorry, I got to run and get my kids, or I had to get home for this. My wife's got this event, or whatever it is. But for the most part, I think we had most of the golfers, we were sold out 144. I think we had at least 100 golfers stay and eat.
I feel like more than that, but we know how I am with math.
and picking out frames.
And picking out frames. We all have our strengths. So let's talk about that. I actually had to do, there was one point I was like using the little square thing, calculating in my head. And I was like, oh, fuck. This reminds me of my first job, where my cash registers, the owner was like, why is yours constantly over or under? And I was like, sorry, hope I'm making it up. But I think most people wanted to stay. And I think that's why you probably got emotional, because you felt the love. And it was also like all of the work that you put into it. You were so happy with the turnout. I mean, the weather was spectacular.
Yeah. Mother Nature was bang on. It was a beautiful day, but it was just trying to be different and separate from myself, or I shouldn't say myself, our golf event from everybody else, and you've heard me say this time and time again. How are we different? How are we different than this foundation? How are we different? And that was my goal, to do some different things. And even the golf course said to me, he's like, when I work here, I've been doing this. I saw some things that I've never seen in my lifetime.
Yeah. I mean, even the kids talking, I mean, that was beautiful, Ian. But one of the things that, and I'm sure you like think about it or not, but like when Peyton was talking and she was getting choked up, like I got choked up when
She
you
was
went
mad at
over.
me, so I don't know if she got choked up or she was just mad at me.
No, she got choked up when she was
That's it.
like, well, because she was like, oh my God, I have to talk. I know she was thrown, but you went and stood next to her. Like no one else did. No one, like you went and put your hand on her shoulder. And when you did that, you just felt her anxiety go down and she was able to get out like 3 sentences. And I don't know if you were as aware, like me filming it, I could see. And like the whole time I'm like, oh, someone needs to stand her. And literally as that went into my head, you were like right there with your hand on, like just settling her, like, it's okay. And then you knew when to sweep in and take the microphone. Like you did it so perfectly that,
Because for October, the Stanley Cup dinner, she's been working on a speech.
I know.
And that's why I'm like, I don't want her to trip up on you start using some of the speech. So I'm like, all right, you got it. So the kids were amazing.
Yeah.
Logan, it was good, and it was good from start to finish. Because the volunteers were great. Can't do it without them. It was just, how do we separate ourselves from everybody else? And I think we did a pretty good job of it.
Yep. I agree. So let's talk about, if people want to go see pictures, they can go to the website under events.
I don't. You tell me. You and
Yeah,
you're the social media guru.
I don't know if it's a guru.
Yeah, we had a couple people. Obviously, lady on the first day, Jamie and Campanelli, took pictures. Obviously for me, as many golf events as I've ever been a part of, I've never had a picture, as a group and get it in the same hole.
Right. That's really cool.
Did Dan say anything about that?
Yeah, he thought that was really cool.
Like I've never had that. She's like, I'm like, what? I've gotten later. There's been times where I've gotten it at the dinner, or whatever, but I've never gotten it immediately.
Right.
Obviously she got some pretty cool shots of Peter and Julie when they came, and then Elizabeth and I, and some
great shots.
some pretty cool shots. Then obviously Adam, coming in from Detroit to take the action shots, the live shots. So I think both links are going to be on the website. Is that right?
Well, we're going to do what we're going to do. Elizabeth and I talked about, we're going to have Adam's on the website.
Okay.
And then we're going to be sending out to like individuals, Jamie's, and just like as, like a thank you and doing it that way, because
Gotcha.
they'll be able to get it there. And then the action ones they can go and download and purchase and stuff like that, which
I think,
which
Adam's
is cool.
going to charge, I think, $10 per picture, which he's going to donate back to the foundation. So for him to spend his time and come out here, I don't even know if I told you. So we put him up at the Westin. He's like, Westin. He's like, asshole, why'd you spend so much money? I didn't need this. Circle 8 was good for me. He goes, wait till I see you. I'm going to slap you. Yeah. Just making it like sound like it's some 5-star resort. No, but you drove from Detroit here, 4 to 5 hours. You spent the money on the gas, didn't charge us for anything. The foundation, we, at least I can do put you up in a Westin.
Right. Right. No, he was a great guy. And he got a lot of the silent auction stuff. I mean, that again, the silent auction, which was on the website for a little bit. Do you want to talk about kind of your thoughts on that and then how that went? That was so fucking cool.
Yeah. It's, again, being different. How do I differ? How do we differ from everybody else? How do you get more exposure? So, obviously all the live, the silent auction, there's 2 portions of the silent auction. I had somebody else and a buddy coming in, Neil, with elite merchandise. He was coming in, So all the frame jerseys and stuff, he was coming a little bit later. So everything you could bid on there, write your bid down there. But for us, for the foundation, I wanted more exposure. Put it online, and I think 4 or 5 items from that online were bought by people that weren't even at the event.
Yeah.
The best one was Elizabeth's cousin. Him and his wife were bidding on the same thing. So he was there golfing, so excited about being there. There was this awesome decanter and 2 glasses with the foundation logo sandblasted into there. He wanted it so much, but his wife is at home bidding on it, and she's raising up the price purposely on him, but texting Elizabeth on the side. So there's the 2 of them are joking, and still right now to this day, he doesn't know that she won it.
Right.
She's like, it's, obviously it's for charity, so I don't care about raising up the price. It's for you. It's for, it's for brand. But they were negotiating again, and he still doesn't know. So maybe sometimes this weekend we're going to go and knock on the door when we know we're both there and hand deliver, and he's going to be so pissed. But it was that kind of interaction. Or Keith, Keith Wagner, he bought something and he wasn't there. So it was to get more people involved that couldn't be there. Not everybody can be there. Not everybody, as you know, we don't just do Chicago. We do the world. So there are some people bidding online from Europe, from Canada, from different places. So that was trying to find ways to get more exposure for the foundation, but have more people feel like they're involved.
Right. And you also like the elite framing, like you also have like some really cool small businesses with really cool stories that worked with you to do some stuff. I mean, like the sticks, the putters, like you had some like really special touches that I think, again, are very unique. And the fact that you were like staying with like really cool local companies that also are like, we want to work with you more. Right. I mean, the apparel, there are so many things
and you just mentioned the putter. He made 3 putters with my shaft game used hockey sticks, which were super cool. I talked to him today. He's collaborating with another company for something cool for the October event.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So that's going to be super cool. I got something in my head that I even talked to him about, but everybody's important. I don't care who you are. We talk about this. Politics don't come in our way. Everybody bleeds red, right? Everybody cries. Doesn't matter what color, what race, what religion. Just want everybody to feel included and loved and appreciated. A lot of the things that I never did and got in my life. So those small businesses, they're working hard. So just some really good people, and you've tumbleweeded a lot of great dyslexics, a lot of great people, and it's trying to grow that organically and the right way. Takes time to understand people, but I can understand people I didn't understand myself. And I gotta thank you for coming into my life, and Elizabeth helped me understand myself and be okay with myself to be able to hear and put on this event.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's all of those unicorny things that happen in the universe that made it happen. I mean, seriously, it was like, because there was a couple people that asked, they're like, where did you come from? You came from New York? And I was like, yes, I did. But you're from New Jersey? Are you a Chicago's fan? I was like, no, I actually don't even watch hockey. And they're like, what? So how did this come?
Sorry. You just watch hockey. You know exactly where I'm going with this. Oh yeah. Okay. Danny.
Dying. Well, why is there an Indian on
Why is there an Indian head on the front of this?
Wait,
what?
We had our conversation afterwards. She goes, "Oh my God, they must think I'm the biggest idiot." I go, Danny, it's the logo, like the Flyers logo, which I have to say, back in the day, I was a Flyer, like Ilka Sinisalo. I think I told you I had his poster up.
Can you spell that for us, please?
Yeah, right. Oh my God.
Well, hang on a second. You're in love with Ilka Sinisalo, then you want to name your dyslexics on Montgomery. Like, I think there's some child abuse that started at a young age. No,
could have been. But that was like my hockey in my middle school years. And so the Flyers, I said to her, I was like, Danny, like the Flyers, like the flyer, like the logo. And she was like, oh, wait, is this on all their jerseys? And I was like, I think that's what that is. She looked it up. She goes, oh my God. And she goes, they must think I'm such a dummy. And I go, no, I think it's actually super entertaining because it's like, we're like too that like oblivious, right? It has nothing to do with like the reason why we want to help the foundation has nothing to do with that Brent was in the NHL. Like we're like the two clueless, like me getting the frame.
That dinner, imagine if the two people or the four people that were sitting next to us, if they were sitting there, they were still sitting on the left, they're probably like, listening to these four morons.
It was so funny. But yeah, so that made me laugh so hard. But so yes, I was explaining to people, they're like, so how? And I was like, it's very random, but it clearly was supposed to. I interviewed him for, because of my first podcast, whatever. And then I was like, I need to help. And then I was explaining, I was like, no. And I like texted nicely, I think we should start a podcast. And he was like, fuck no. And I was like, oh, what? And then I couldn't stop thinking about, I need to help the foundation. Like I'm like in the weeds with this and I want to be able to help with some of the stuff. And yeah, so that was, that was like pretty entertaining all around. And then the fact that then I started working for Fat Tech and Danielle's dyslexic. And it's like, oh, wait, here's another dyslexic. And that she could come and see everything. And then her with the apparel, she's like, oh my God, she's well, with her sister. She's like, feel this. Like, and her sister's like, I can't. What do you? So like, they're going to be using.
She's got no sensory issues.
Well, isn't the first thing that all of us did? I mean, even Elizabeth, we're like, oh, it's so soft.
But it was the four of us. If there was a GoPro on my hat, all weekend, the conversations that went on, and yeah,
it was super fun. But yeah, so that made me die laughing. But it is so random, but then makes so much sense, and that's what is beautiful about the whole thing because it was divine timing. And I not hate because I love that, but like the unicorny thing, it really was divine timing. It was meant to happen. And it's one of those things where I say to people all the time, like, if you have something that you keep thinking about, don't keep trying to stuff it and be like, oh, whatever, like ask, right? I asked you, I was like, he might be like, no, crazy lady. I'm like, which you did. And then I was like, well, wait a second.
Straight hard. But you got to start with I asked him nicely, bullshit. You stalked the shit out of me. So let's just call a spade here.
Okay, if you want to call it that, you could call it that. I'm going to go back through the text.
No, okay. You, if that makes you sleep at night, then that's fine.
You're like, yeah, no. And I was like, what do you mean no? Why are you saying no?
Well, but it is because in my life, everybody's wanted things. Right,
you had no idea, right? You're like, oh God, here comes another one.
Would somebody else take? What do they want from me? And I've given, and that's why I've been, screwed over. That's why I don't trust a single person, right? And how many times did it happen during the course of this year, and how many things at with the golf event, ROM, right? Everything happens, but I had to proceed with caution and. See what the stalker's all about.
No, but you do, right? And I didn't of course, again, because I'm like oblivious to that. I don't think about it, but right, it's like, yeah, no, this happens all the time, like. But then you realize, okay, she's crazy, but not like crazy, like killer crazy. She's just crazy. But that is, it is. The whole year and a half, however long it is all. Just built up for all of it. And then the fact that you and Elizabeth can do this together with the knowledge that you have, and then watching her at the event I was so happy. She killed it.
She was first star out of the whole event. She knocked it out of the park with everything. And, to have her sit there and watch, me go nuts for the last 6 months, because those details were important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And correct me if I'm not wrong, I think those are the details that separated us, on Monday from any other event. But she was,
Yep.
she was spectacular.
Yeah, she really was. And just watching her in it was just really beautiful too, because she, like, was so calm, was so organized with it all, was like, and I think she said to me, last year, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to like do this. She's like, it's just been like, it flowed. It's like in a flow, like it was perfect.
It looked like she'd been doing, it looked like she'd been planning 150, 300, 400, 500, 10,000 people events. She knew exactly what to do and how to do it, how to say it, how to deliver it. She was bang on, just spectacular.
She was, and calm and cool and like so happy. The two of you were so happy. So it was like, it was really awesome to be on the sidelines watching what, since I've been behind the scenes, seeing it unfold, and then just having it go as perfect as it did was really special.
Yeah. And we talked about this earlier, is I wanted everything done, all the details. I wanted everything done the week before so everybody could enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
All the last minute things, rushing that day, as you kind of mentioned, there's always behind the scenes things. There wasn't a lot of that, because that was the number one thing for me to avoid, is those behind the scene things that I could control that didn't have to, so that everybody can enjoy it. It didn't matter if you're a volunteer. It didn't matter who you were, if you were playing. If you were, this wasn't done, or this wasn't done. That's why, I think you saw it, is why I was going nuts the last month, is to try and avoid that nutsness on that day so everybody can enjoy it.
Yeah. And you did an awesome job. So let's talk a little bit about October, and then we'll wrap this up. But we have another event.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the crazy things that we like to be. Let's talk about sex.
I think those are the exact words.
No, probably not.
Oh, it sounded like they were. I want to say they were the exact words. I was very impressed.
The sex part was the only right word I probably got out of that whole thing.
Well, it was a good rhyme. You did a really good rhyme there. But so October 18th in Chicagoland, which makes me laugh every time I say it. I think when I said it to Dan, he's like, did you just make that up? And I was like, no, this is what they say outside of Chicago. It's called Chicagoland. He's like, oh, I've never heard that. I was like, because we're not from Chicago. So it's in Chicagoland.
Chicagoland is Long Island, right?
Okay, right.
Well, no, again, yes. Obviously, there's a when I lived in Garden City, everybody, as soon as you cross over that bridge, it's Long Island. Am I correct?
Yeah, exactly.
No matter if you're Montauk or you're Garden City, so same kind of thing. Because the big joke is Naperville. Naperville is about, I think it's like 25, 30 miles from here. And the biggest don't tell me you're from Chicago when you're from Naperville. So,
right.
So
right. You can't say you're from New York. And that's what people get all pissed. They're like, wait, what part of, like, and then if you're like Long Island, they're like, that's not New York.
Yeah,
and you're like,
exactly.
Well, it is, but yes, right. It's not this. When you say New York, people think the city. So yes,
same thing.
100%. So it is in Chicagoland on the 18th, and the Stanley Cup is going to be there, which is incredible. And the planning has already started, and I cannot wait for it. I mean, it's going to be fun. It's a cocktail, right? What did we decide? Cocktail attire.
Yeah, cocktail attire, whatever the hell that means. I don't know. The planning. The planning's already started. I'm already, losing my mind already.
Know, right? You took a breath for a second, and then it's like, okay, now.
So, and October Dyslexia Awareness Month is coming up, so trying to plan some things with some local businesses there. Trying to drive some awareness there on top of that event. On top, so
on top of all the stuff.
Obviously the foundation partner up with NHL Charity Foundation. They're the ones that have allowed us to have the Stanley Cup that day on that October 18th. Pretty amazing for them to do that. So blessed to have that, that relationship and that partnership, and bring back the Stanley Cup for the first time. And I think it's 9 years since it's been in the area. And, the Stanley Cup is not something that just, yeah, can I have that? No, that's not,
No, right.
that's not how it works. I won it. My name's on it. There's hundreds of millions of people that want to see it. So, the foundation just so blessed that we were able to make that, that partner, I wouldn't call it, partnership, that relationship with Rob, to be able to have that and make it another unique, special event, and try and be different than other events, or no matter if it's a black tie or a golf event, or a bike relay, or whatever that is, or a walk. Just trying to separate ourselves and do things a little bit different.
Yep, because we are different. So if you guys want more information, yes.
5Ds.
So the 5Ds, right? And so, yes, if you guys want more information on that, you can go to the website, sopelfoundation.org. You can go to Brent's Instagram. You can go to the Sopel Foundation Instagram. But there's more information on getting tickets. Now, you cannot buy tickets directly from the website right now, because if we did that, it would go like crazy. So if you do know of people that love the Stanley Cup, love kind of events like this, love supporting charities, and you're looking for something to be like, hey, I want to do something. As Brent said, October is Dyslexic Awareness Month. And that's a really special way to give back to a foundation that's all that's what we're doing. We're creating community, which we have some really fun stuff coming up. I know Brent just mentioned the 5Ds. Do you want to say what they are? Do you want me to say what they are?
Please, ladies first.
Okay,
age before beauty.
I think that's all encompassing there. So we were saying 4Ds for a very long time.
Right.
And so we apologize to people that have dyspraxia.
Yes.
Because we both do not have dyspraxia. And so we weren't thinking of that until I saw a post and I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? Yeah. I didn't hear a lot about dyspraxia. And so we are doing the 5Ds. So that's dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, or dyscalculia.
Dyscalculia is I think the terminology way, but dyscalculia, right. Yes.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah. Every time I try to say it the other way.
Dyspraxia.
Yes,
I have
dyspraxia.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. And well, maybe we do have dyspraxia. And then ADHD is the next one. And so we're going to be doing some things around it. You know how we feel about the word neurodiverse. There's so many things that fall under the umbrella. And how can you don't know what learning style you have, whatever the PC word, what your fucked upness is, basically. So we're saying the 5Ds. How many Ds do you have? I think I have 3 of the 5Ds.
I got 4.
You have the 4 of the 5Ds. We have yet to find someone with 5 of the 5Ds.
Well, in dyspraxia, there isn't, I haven't, maybe we do have it, but I've never, met some people, but, not a lot with, when it comes to that.
Right. And so we can explain that more. That's for a different episode of word blindness, where we'll break that down. But so there's going to be something really fun coming around with that. There is a lot of stuff that your proceeds are going to help grow with the foundation, not just awareness, but there's a lot of change that needs to be happening. And that man right there is the one that's going to be doing it. Or is it? No, yeah, it's that way. Watch, it's going to be flipped so I'm going to go like this. It's going to be flipped it's like a fucking mirror. So that is, again, one of the reasons why I know he is going to be the person that is going to change it. And so all the fun stuff that's happening, some of the not fun stuff, but there is a lot of people behind the scenes, a lot of volunteers getting a lot of information that is going to be very useful for families, people that are going through just learning about dyslexia, learning how to do the IEP, learning how to navigate.
So much. Yeah.
Having a child that has dyslexia that's more severe and then maybe missing it in another child when you think you knew. When you're like, oh no, I know what I'm doing. And then we're going to go.
It's another episode, right?
That might be a lot of like more like not just one episode. That might be like 10,000 episodes. Jesus Christ.
I'm right here. How can I help you?
So I think that is kind of everything in a nutshell for this Wednesday.
Yeah. No, again, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for myself. Truly blessed. The foundation for you and Dan to come out. You and Elizabeth do what you did. So it was great. So thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for letting me. Because I could have just been that crazy lady that you were like, no.
You will always go down as a crazy lady. So let's just make sure.
I've been called worse. I'll take that. I'll take that. So you guys, on that note, you guys know what to do. Like, rate, review, and share. You don't know who needs to hear this. You don't know who is looking for the next fucking golf event next summer. They're like, you know what? I need to add some more events.
This is the crazy lady episode.
I think there's been many of those. So like, rate, review, and share, and we'll see you for another episode of Word Blindness, Dyslexia Exposed.